He was a happy kid, loved to experience things, overly bright. So right from the get-go in kindergarten, we had problems with the school because he'd be finished his work in 10 minutes and then proceed to be the clown and disrupt the rest of the class. Even at a young age, 4 years old, would seek out answers to things on his own. I'd never had enough information to give him, but I also raised him as a very compassionate person and to take heed to the people around him, pay attention to other people's feelings. So in grade school, once we moved to Calgary, he would be the type of person that would stand up to the other bullies and protect kids. And I got called into the school on numerous occasions to deal with the principal because he was sticking up for a kid. He didn't want them to be the underdog. He wanted to be there. He wanted to be their friend and cared about them no matter what their differences were. I think he just started exploring the whole religion side. Bit by bit, I think he was just dancing with it at the time. But I could see a change. I could see a shift. He started becoming much more peaceful, grounded in the Muslim faith, in Islam. He prayed at one mosque. I would take him. I was so pleased for him. I was happy for him. I told him over and over again. If he wanted to pray when he was visiting in our home, I'd say, do it, go ahead. You know, he would have an alarm set on his phone for when it was time to say prayers, and I'd give him that space. I respected what he chose. I respected the faith that he chose. And I was happy for him and told him so over and over again. I raised him that way as well, to be accepting of all cultures, all religions, all people's choices, as long as it meant that we were being kind to everybody else around us. You're being a good person and trying to treat the person next to you the way you'd want to be treated. As long as you could find it in your heart to find that compassion, no matter what. Who are we to say what's right and what's wrong? In the end, what I've learned over the past few months and seeking out answers and everything else, the Islamic faith is very peaceful and compassionate. It's supposed to be to others and helpful and helping, going out and actually doing what you preach. And there are various types of Islam too. There's different sections and divisions of the religion itself. But what I've found is that they're very close, tight-knit groups. So it becomes a family of its own. And with somebody who's looking for a sense of belonging or feeling like they're connecting, I could see how he'd be easily drawn into the fact that he's feeling peaceful, he's feeling that calm, plus he's getting that sense of family, that sense of connection, that sense of belonging and fitting in. It's all about timing. With Damien, he moved to a different part of the city, so he started attending a different mosque, met different people. Originally, I met a lot of his friends, beautiful people. They would stop by here, most respectful, loving. They were fantastic people. But he moved to a different part of the city, so transportation became an issue. So instead of going to the usual mosque and the usual people that he'd been surrounded by in the beginning, he started going to a different one, had an opportunity to meet new people. And I think this is where it opened the door to get introduced to people with much more rigid views. And because you're learning and you want to increase that high, it opened it up to other ideas and learn. He's still learning. And again, like I said, Damien always had a thirst for knowledge. So he had to open up his mind to other ideas that some of these new people he was meeting were introducing to him. And he wanted to be an even better Muslim because he wanted a bigger high. That sounds familiar in a lot of cases, not just faith or religion or anything else. I think that's where it started. And so he started exploring and delving into the more radicalized views and opinions of some of these newer people that he met. And then all of a sudden, here's this opportunity to go out there and prove something to himself. He's doing something good. He's helping people. He's saving people. He's becoming a productive person in society, which was some sort of fulfillment that he needed. And they spoke to that. They specifically spoke to that vulnerability within him. And that was that golden carrot that was dangled in front of him. Ultimately, in the end, I don't know what he believed. Again, that's that whole honesty with one's self kind of question. And I don't think he was there yet. I think he just needed a feeling. He needed to increase that high. And in his heart and his mind, that was what was right at that moment. How much further I can go with that, I can't. And that's, I mean, a big question that I would still want to ask him if there was a chance that I could ask him that. And I don't even know if he'd still be able to answer or if he'd had the maturity to answer. There's a way back for everybody. There's a way back. There's second chances for anybody as long as they're honest and earnest about doing the right thing, coming back. I truly believe if you get that help for those people and they realize, okay, wait a minute, I was a little bit off in my way of thinking and I was misdirected. And okay, I've got to think about the bigger picture here. It's not about vengeance. It's not about justifying all of that. Then yeah, there's a way back.